Welcome, baseball family, to this Thursday night live with the Baseball Together podcast. I am Brad, and as per usual, I'm joined on my left by our guy Brig. Brig, how are you this evening?
Pretty happy.
That's good to hear.
I'm pretty
good
happy.
News.
There's some good news.
Excellent. Well, you should be. We're talking a lot about the Yankees tonight. A lot going on with the Yankees this last couple days. So, shall we get into it?
Shall we? We shall. Yes.
We shall. Okay, excellent. Very good. First things first, Aaron Judge and his shifty eyes got into, I wouldn't even say trouble, but there was a little bit of controversy. So you probably saw it this week. Yeah, speculative controversy. So you probably saw it this week, but if you didn't, we will give you a brief recap. So Aaron Judge is up to the plate and looking at the pitcher, but then his eyes shoot over toward the dugout. Back to the pitcher, over to the dugout, back and forth.
I only saw one.
I think I saw like 3 times.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what drew their attention, was that he kept doing it. Because so the Toronto Blue Jays, their broadcasters noticed this. They're like, whoa, hold on now. Yeah. Hold on. And they specifically said, don't want to make any accusations, but it's like,
we're going to imply.
Yeah. But so it was really interesting. But as they're sitting there talking about it, because there was more conversation after, they're kind of like, well, so was he looking at the catcher because was he trying to figure out, fastball away, slider in, right, trying to figure out where the catcher's setting up. But looking at that, I was like, he would have been looking down more if he was looking at the catcher, right? So that he was clearly looking over to the dugout. Anyway, at the end, that at bat ended with Judge going yard, as they said on the Toronto Blue Jays broadcast. They said he clobbered it, hit it a country mile. I was more shocked by the fact that they didn't say a country kilometer. That's I would have expected that to be the phrase up in the Great White North, but I guess not. But anyway, after the game, though, Judge said that he's looking over the dugout because he was annoyed by his teammates chirping. He's like, "We're up 6-0. These guys are still chirping at the umpire for whatever reason," and sounded like he was trying to figure out who it was so he could talk to him after the game. Whatever. I don't know if that's true or not, but as it turns out, pitcher Jackson was tipping his pitches.
Jay Jackson.
And I heard Michael Kay say this, so I feel like this is a pretty good source on this because he's in close with the team, right? Yeah, that he was looking close. He said that he was looking over the first base coach who was sending him a signal about the pitch because Jackson was tipping his pitches. But my thing, though, is like, I almost believe Judge more than I believe Michael Kay in this, because if Jay Jackson's tipping his pitches, it's something Judge can see typically. Unless it's something on his backside. And don't get me wrong, I don't feel like this is cheating at all, right? Like, we're okay with this?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, no electronics were used in the process.
Right. Even aside from my homerism, Yankees fan inclinations or whatever, like, because I didn't want to believe this. I was like, that looks really fishy, though.
It really was fishy.
And I was like, no, man, come on. Anybody but Judge, please.
Right.
Do not.
Oh, my gosh. Could you imagine?
I panicked a little bit. I was like, no, man, please. Because then it would be everything would go burning down. Everything. It would be a new Pete Rose situation.
I was going to say the only thing that would be worse than Aaron Judge going down as a cheater is if Shohei Ohtani went down as a cheater. It's the only guy who it would be worse for.
For sure.
For baseball.
100%. I agree with that.
Like, I think if I were to find out that Ohtani was cheating, I might quit this whole thing. There's no
It
reason.
would
No
right.
reason to go on.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, am I okay with this? Yes, is sign stealing totally a part of the game? Has been since forever. Totally. As long as it's not done illegally, there are, rules in place for how to do it ethically and how to do it unethically.
Right.
And now we all know very clearly what those boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
This,
Yeah.
until further notice, this was inside the boundaries.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing too was so the way we did it in high school, I think I brought this up before. This might have been a while ago, probably when we were talking the whole Astros thing, was that if somebody caught a signal, if you're on base, like if you're seeing the catcher signs from second base, it was um, left foot in front is off speed,
Yeah.
feet together on your step is a fastball. But then if we had one kid who could pick off signs from anybody, it was amazing. And last I heard, he's coaching college ball somewhere, might be in Portland still. But anyway, he could pick off signs like nobody's business. So what he'd do is he'd tell us like, "Hey guys, off speed, I call your number. Fastball, call your name." It was that simple of a signal for us.
That's awesome. That's a great signal.
And we got it all the time. He did it all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Very cool.
and that kind of stuff, I'm okay with that. If that's what was going on here, and he was kind of looking over to see if he could see what they were saying, because maybe you couldn't hear him, I'm fine with it. It's cool.
Same.
Go for it. But
he's now homered 6 times in the last 6 games, including tonight versus the Blue Jays.
Some kind of tear. It's unreal.
It's currently 3-2 between the 7th and the 8th right now.
Did George Springer hit a home run?
Yeah, that's how that happened.
Is that how it happened?
No, George Springer lined out to Harrison Bader, who is unequivocally.
I said, did he hit a homer?
Oh, I thought you said he did. I was like, okay, yeah, no.
Money here, Brig. Money here, Brig.
Oh, gotcha. Your investments.
Yes.
Yeah, your investments. No, let's just all. I mean, I know we didn't plan to talk about this. We're going to bring this up next week. Very likely, but Harrison Bader is unequivocally the best defensive center fielder in the game right now.
I think that calls for some debate.
I think it does, which is why we're going to talk about it on Monday.
Exactly right. But let's stick with the Yankees for a couple minutes. Let's talk about Domingo German. He was ejected and suspended for 10 games as per the rules for a foreign substance. And we kind of poked fun at this because there was a shot of his pants and whatever substance it was, when behind it there were some spit seeds, and we were making fun that we don't like spit seeds, we like Chinook seeds for obvious reasons.
Every reason, honestly.
Every reason, that's right. Yeah. But my thing about this though, Brig, was that he was warned, was it his last outing before this one?
Yeah.
That there was some question as to what he had on his hands?
Yep.
Is that what it was?
It's my understanding is that because he's only been back recently, so.
That's right. Yeah, he was out for a while. But apparently he thought they could continue to get away with it.
I don't know what it was.
So I saw a picture of his hand.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was covered in pine tar.
Yeah. Well, and what he does, he uses the rosin bag in the dugout. He doesn't use the one on the mound. And that's part of the problem, is that nobody's sitting there like, what are you doing? Right? Like, if he's on national television and all the umpires are staring at him and he's got that rosin bag and he's beating the crap out of it on his hand and spitting into his hand and hitting I don't know, I'm speculating, but if he's really working his hand up with rosin, that's more than just the hacky toss that they do on the mound, right?
Yeah. Well, and we did find out with Max Scherzer that there is such thing as too much rosin.
Yep.
But
and that's I think what happened here.
Yeah, one of the umpires did say it definitely wasn't rosin with her.
Oh, really? Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, so not good for him. But my question for you, Brig, is what's the temperature on German these days in Yankee land? I don't think it's good, is it?
It's not good, but the starting rotation is in such dire need that I think everybody's sort of like hoping he'll pull it together because we need him to.
Well, and I don't think it's necessarily all just a performance thing. I think some of it is a personality issue, right?
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder. I can't even remember who it was. There's somebody for the Mariners. It's the first guy to get busted for foreign substance, and it just happened to be, I think it was just too much rosin. Same thing as
Yeah.
Scherzer. But I remember he happened to be a Mariner, and it ended up being one of those things where like, good riddance, man. Never saw it. Part of it was a PED suspension, but another part of it was whatever. Get out of here. Not that good anyway. That's
So in 2023, he's done, let's see, 9 games. It's either 8 or 9 games this season. And his ERA right now is 3.75. That's not bad. 2 wins, 3 losses. He's got a positive WAR in 9 games. That's
got that.
So
going
maybe
for
it
him,
is a
which is
personality problem.
Yeah. I think
don't know.
I think a lot of it is his domestic violence issues.
Oh, well, that's always going to follow him around. Yeah, that's
for sure.
Once you go there,
it's tough.
Very little
tough
coming back from.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on down south to Houston. Jose Altuve fractured his hand in the World Baseball Classic, for those of you who may have forgotten, and has not played a game yet for the Houston Astros this season. Well, it sounds like he's not going to make his final rehab start. Instead, he's going to go to Houston and work out. And from what I saw, Dusty Baker said, we'll see how it goes. And then we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if like Altuve really does have that big of a role on this team.
Yeah, and
like
that's what I was going to say.
Huge.
It would have to be for him to for him to skip anything that is mandated by the club as a rehab assignment, because this feels like an exception to policy, right?
Right.
We're going to make an exception to our business terms in order to allow this, potential outcome to take place. And so if they view the potential benefits of his return outweigh whatever he's going to get in the rehab assignment, and he's still not going to be on the field right away, then it must be personality, leadership, charisma, or team cohesion, whatever those X factor things are. It has to be.
Yeah, that was my first thought, was they just cannot wait to get him back in that dugout.
Yeah.
Because they desperately need him. And they've been playing better lately. They're up over 500, but they're still 6-4 in their last 10, which is not very Astros-esque lately.
No.
And so I think that they're like, we got to get him back sooner than later, because the Rangers are getting a little more ground than we would like on us. And I don't think the Rangers will hold it, but I still think that the Astros are not in a spot they want to be right now. And I think that they think that Altuve is the solution, and he very well could be.
He could be.
The evidence that we have so far.
The thing about the Rangers is that if DeGrom was an everyday reliability piece, then we would be looking at this whole situation differently.
We could be, possibly.
I don't know why
every 5 days.
I don't know why I feel so strongly about it, but I feel like he tips the scales a little bit when he's there.
Yeah, he could. He very well could. But that's something to keep an eye on this weekend. The possible early return of Jose Altuve, even if it's just to the dugout. So see if the Altuve effect is a real thing. Brig, why don't you tell them about Patreon?
Okay, so you can support us on Patreon. It's the best way to support the podcast. We've got $1, $5, $10, $15, and a $500 a month option to support the podcast. Yes, it's ridiculous for $500 a month, but also the benefits are ridiculous. So if you want to figure out what that is, jump on patreon.com, search Baseball Together, and maybe you can help me buy a bougie cup of coffee and Brad a ticket to a baseball game. Because I'm not going to spend it on coffee, but it's a great it's a great way to support us. We could not do what we do without you, and we appreciate anything. Likes and subscribes are great. Share it with your friends. We're trying to grow this thing, so find us on YouTube and all the socials. That's another great way to support the podcast, and we appreciate that just as much as anything.
Absolutely, for sure. And make sure, like Brick said, subscribe to the show so you don't miss anything. This week, we just did a news dump. There was so much news going on that we just talked news for about an hour, and it was a lot of fun. There were some good topics this week, and so this next week, we will be talking Phillies, for those of you who are Phillies fans.
Mm-hmm.
So hop on there, subscribe so you don't miss anything. All right, let's get into the national TV schedule for this weekend. First things first, Friday night on Apple TV Plus, we have the Orioles at the Blue Jays. The Orioles are 28-15. The Blue Jays are 25-18. This game is going to start on 7:07 p.m. Eastern, like I said, on Apple TV Plus. That's going to be a really good game.
Bro.
That's going to be big time. I'm excited for that one. And I would be watching it if the Mariners and Braves were not starting at 7:20 on Apple TV Plus.
You'll catch a couple innings.
I probably will. You're right. The Mariners are 21-22 going into the weekend. The Braves are 27-16. I am so scared, Brig.
I would be too.
So scared right now. And granted, the Mariners have, I don't think it's in this order, but it's George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, and Bryce Miller going this weekend.
I think it's Miller, Gilbert, Kirby.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's the order because I know that because Bryce Elder starts for the Braves on Friday.
And it's Bryce versus Bryce, and I know Kirby's going on Sunday.
Yeah, so and Gilbert's definitely scheduled for Saturday. Yeah.
I'm so scared though. Oh my goodness.
It's going to be intense. It could be really bad for Seattle. Really bad.
Potentially. But I will say this. They said they had a players only meeting after the blowout last night in Boston. And they were kind of like, okay, like we all know it needs to change. Now just freaking go do it. They're right. Like, stop talking. Shut up. Just go do your part. Everybody play your role on the team. And everything will work out. So hopefully it works. I don't know. There was a brawl a few years ago that we thought was going to turn things around, but it sure didn't. So I don't know.
Right. The thing about the Mariners-Braves series is that this could go really poorly for Seattle, but no matter what, this is going to be immaterial for Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like if the Mariners beat the Braves, that'll be good. It won't be spectacular. If the Braves lose to the Mariners, the Braves are going to be like, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Mariners took 2 out of 3 from them last year, so they might just be like, well, they've got our number. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think the Braves will shrug this off, but the Mariners, this could be semi-defining for them.
Yeah, 3-3 on the road trip right now. We'll see.
Saturday, you can watch baseball 3 different times, actually. You can watch the Brewers at the Trop. They're going to play the Rays at 4:10 p.m. Saturday. That's Eastern Standard Time. The Brewers are 24-19. They're doing really well. The Rays are incredible still, and they're 32-12. So I don't know what to tell you, but Milwaukee's going to have a problem, especially at the Trop.
They'll have their hands full for sure.
Yeah. And then we're going to move to the evening. Fox at 7:15 Eastern, depending on your local listings. You'll either get access to the Dodgers in St. Louis playing the Cards or the Mariners or the Braves. And the Dodgers are 28-16. Cardinals are 18-26. We think we know how this will go, but let's be honest. St. Louis has been throwing nothing but junk, and we have no idea what's going to happen with them ever.
Well, they're up on the Dodgers right now, 9-2.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go.
Nothing makes sense in St. Louis right now, and very little, honestly, makes sense in LA. So,
yeah. You know, I will say this about the Dodgers, that I feel like unless they're playing the Padres, they do the bare minimum. Is what it feels like they're doing. Yeah. Like, can we squeak out a 1-2 run win tonight? Yeah, we can. We'll be fine.
They're just phoning it in right now.
Yeah, I don't feel like they show up unless it's the Padres. And that was only after the crying Kershaw incident we talked about.
I was just going to say that
on Tuesday's show.
All right.
Anyway. Your other Fox game, though, is the Mariners and Braves.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, did you? Okay, I must have missed that.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Your Sunday option, your wake up in baseball is on Peacock again. That'll be at 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time. Yankees at Reds in Cincinnati. I think the biggest thing to look forward to in this game is that it's in Cincinnati. Otherwise, it's like,
I'll tell you what though, Brig. The Reds won me like $900 last weekend. So
yeah, they did.
True facts right there.
Yeah, big old fatty fat facts.
So I don't know. The Reds these days.
Yeah,
well, like what they're doing. I'm curious how I don't know. I'm curious how they're going to play against the Yankees this weekend. I really am. The Yankees are clicking right now, but You don't know. They might play down to their competition. We'll see what happens.
Listen, if it had been 10 days ago, I'd tell you I was straight up worried.
Yeah.
But for whatever
Right now,
reason,
not so
in
much.
the last 10 days, things have turned around in New York, and it's great. It's a little worrisome, but it's great. I think Harrison Bader has had a lot to do with that. I really do. I don't know why. I don't know how to justify it, but that's a big deal. Or Sunday evening's nationally televised game will be on ESPN, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. That will feature Cleveland's baseball team against the little brother New York Mets. And we're really excited. I had to slip it in there. Against the New York Mets.
You know what's super funny about this game? This is another one of those ones where back in like December, November, whatever, whenever they were putting together a national TV schedule, they're like, oh yeah, the Guardians and the Mets, that's going to be a great game. And now it's like, you could have done a whole lot better on a Sunday afternoon game.
Totally.
Not going to do well for the TV numbers there.
I don't think so. Brad, who are you excited to watch this weekend?
So obviously, like we talked about, we already talked about the Mariners and Braves. I'm going to be watching every single pitch for that series that I can, and probably going to chew my fingernails down to nothing, and just it's going to be so stressful.
Give us a before and after, right? We show us your fingernails right now.
I can do that.
And then on Monday.
My other series, I got the Brewers and Rays, like we talked about. The Brewers are going to have their handful. I'm curious because we've seen the Rays kind of I don't want to say step back, but come down to earth just a touch. They haven't crashed yet, but they're coming down just a touch. Two. Yeah. And so I'm curious if the Brewers can take advantage of that and get out of there. The Dodgers and Cardinals is fascinating. The Cardinals are coming up. The Dodgers, like we said, are lazy or something. I don't know. I don't know if lazy is the right word, but they're not playing the way that they should be. And then the A's and Astros, I will at the very least be scoreboard watching just to see what's going on in this series, because I will lose my mind if the A's win one game in this series. Because I swear they have only won like one or two division games so far this season. Because the rest of the AL West is just like, we are not losing to you.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely not. All right, go ahead.
It's justifiable. All right, the series I'm excited to watch. I've got a handful of them, but the biggest ones are the Orioles at the Blue Jays. For every reason. I mean, it's in the division. The Orioles are awesome. The Blue Jays are really good at baseball. It's at the Rogers Center, which is like the 10th guy on the field for the Blue Jays. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for
whatever reason, they play way better in the Rogers Center than they do anywhere else. I don't understand, but it's a whole thing.
It's a hitter-friendly park. It really is.
Of course.
And
yeah.
They're built for it. Their team is put together for that place. But
for sure.
Let's call it the Battle of the Birds. I'm excited for this one as well.
The Battle of the Birds. Okay. I'm excited to see how the Twins stack up against the Angels. I feel like this is going to be a really interesting series because the Angels have started to show up more than certainly we expected them to.
They did today. I watched them beat the Orioles today, and I was very frustrated by it.
Yeah, and so it's interesting to see. I feel like the Twins have also outperformed everyone's expectations, but I feel like they're also like the Twins and the Angels, they're on the same like level in terms of capabilities, and I feel like their teams complement each other offensively and defensively. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Red Sox at Padres. This one's really interesting for about every reason under the sun. Well, I know I keep saying that, but the Red Sox, their start was abysmal, and they have started to pull some weight that I didn't think they were capable of pulling. The Padres continue to be a question mark, and up against that lineup with that much spend behind them, and I just want to know what Petco is going to do to Boston. I wonder if the being at home is going to do something special for the Padres. I know I keep talking X Factor stuff. Their records are really similar as far as numbers go, and it'll just be interesting. I think we're seeing two teams trending, and they're going to collide on this. Let
me tell you what I think is going to happen here, Brig. The Red Sox are built as a fly ball team because of Fenway, right? Fly balls are home runs there, right? They don't have good pitching. They're bottom 5, I think, in Major League Baseball in pitching. I think the Padres are going to tee off. It's not going to be close. It's not going to be pretty for the Red Sox. They're just the Padres are just going to cream them. Is what I think is going to happen. Honestly, at least one of these games, the Padres will win by at least 8.
I think so.
Right,
it's going to be Saturday.
Probably, yeah. Day game.
Yep.
Yeah. That'll be the one.
It's going to be Saturday, which I'll get to in just a moment. And then D-backs and Pirates. These are two teams that have come out of nowhere. The D-backs are playing better than they should, and I feel like the Pirates, right, in the last couple of days. I gotta check really quick, but I feel like the Pirates in the last couple of days have been underperforming. They're 3-7 in their last 10, and that bothers me because, I mean, they're still above 500, but I need them to be doing a lot better than this. And I feel like this is going to be an interesting matchup against.
They hit a tough patch in their schedule, I think, is a big part of it.
I don't care.
Well, no, I was just going to say that I think that what they are is they're a middle of the road NL Central team, which is good enough in that division, right? To be middle of the road because nobody's going to run away with that division.
Right.
And so when they run into the powers of like the powerhouses of the league, of the National League, they're not going to stack up well against them as well. They're not quite at that level, right? But they beat the Tigers because they're better than them.
Sure.
Right. They're not a Tigers level team anymore. They're a step up from that, and I think that they're working their way up. And like I said, they'll contend for I still think they'll contend for the division because of where they're at. But they're not. Like I think the D-backs will take 2 out of 3 with this one.
Well, so the D-backs are in second place in the NL West right now.
Yeah,
and that's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, man. I mean, the Dodgers, and they're only 3 games behind the Dodgers. I don't understand.
Well, they got Zach Gallen going, I think, on Friday, and that's going to be a lock.
I think you're right.
That dude doesn't lose.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a really interesting series to watch because the D-backs are better than they should be, and the Pirates have been slipping a little bit. So it'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. I'll definitely be paying attention to that one, too. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, time for BT bets. Here are your picks for the weekend. I went 3-0 last week, and I had a really, really good weekend. Very happy with all of it, all around. That takes me to 10-8. Brig was 1-2 last week. Takes you to 7-11. Brig.
Oh,
so
that's bad.
Friday night, I believe this is the one where Zach Gallen is pitching because I took the D-backs run line against the Pirates. DraftKings has them at plus 105 right now, so you can go take that because, like I said, Zach Gallen does not give up runs. So.
True.
You're good to go there. Saturday, take the White Sox plus money over the Royals. That's probably going to be the run line. The Royals, whoever's pitching for them, I can't remember who it is, has an ERA over like 7 or 8. So runs galore there for the White Sox. Sunday, take the Nats plus money against the Tigers. Nats are playing well right now. They're not good, but they're playing pretty well for who they are, especially against low-level teams like the Tigers, who might be able to get the money line here and just take a 1-run win with the Nats or the Tigers if you can get that. If not, take the run line if that's where your plus money is as well. But Nats over Tigers.
You know what I've learned in this BT bets experiment we're doing is that I like high-risk betting.
Because you're not putting any money on it.
Yeah. So I might lose every once in a while, but when I win, the payoffs are probably huge.
I'll have to take a look at that actually where I'm tracking.
Yeah, we need to because that'll be interesting. So I recommend that you bet on the Yankees versus the Reds on Friday specifically. Take the run line. Brad's going to look up.
Go ahead.
Brad's going to look up what the best odds are on that one. But I think the Yankees are going to tee off against Cincinnati, and it's going to be awesome. If
DraftKings has the Yankees run line at plus 100.
Take it. Take that. Padres over the Red Sox on Saturday. I take the money line on that one. And then Sunday, Braves plus money. Anywhere you can get it. It's probably going to be the run line against Seattle. I think that is going to be really interesting.
It could be. George Kirby pounds the strike zone. Like I said, Brig, I'm really worried.
Yeah, I definitely
so scared.
I think if the Mariners beat the Braves on Sunday, that'll be and they lose the other two, like that'll be a huge win for Seattle.
Yeah.
If they take 1 out of 3, it'll be huge. But I'm saying that the Braves are going to win, and I would probably bet on the run line given the situation.
Yeah. So real quick, last thing before we go. Like I make it sound like I don't like George Kirby. I love George Kirby. He's a really good pitcher. But man, like there are some teams who wreck him. Like I said, he pounds the strike zone. He's got 2 really good fastballs, throws a really good 4-seam, really good 2-seam. The thing is that there are some guys who can differentiate between that and just crush it.
Yeah.
But a lot of teams struggle with the 4-seam, the 2-seam coming in there, and they can't hit it, and that's why he's successful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I worry about the Braves. There's a lot of really good hitters in that lineup, and it could be problems if he's throwing strikes all day like he normally does.
100%. Yeah.
So, but anyway, baseball family, thank you so much for supporting us and watching and everything. Like we said, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you can. Head over to schnookseatery.com to support the show. Use code BTPOD to get 10% off your order. Support yourself, support your wallet, support your mouth, and support the show while you're at it, because we get a piece of that sale without you spending any extra money. And baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next week.